and Tampa Motor Mouth in the zone behind the microphone, along with
Flying Ryan goes here with the day.
Joel Verlin here, rock and roll, and doing the sports shuffle thing as we ended up taking a week off just because, well, it's Turkey Day and
Thanksgiving. You gotta take some time off, spend it with the family, and just rest, relax, get back because
Black
the crazies were coming.
Friday.
And I'm sure if you saw any news reports, you didn't see any signs of violence or animosity between one person or another.
There's a riot going on up in cell block number 9. Right? Would that be?
Oh, yeah. I saw a lot of memes and pictures on stuff like, it's funny how we give thanks for everything we have one day and then start beating the crap out of each other the
Let's go trample our
next.
fellow man and
stuff
woman.
we don't have. Yeah.
Well, which story? Well, I'll let you start off with the stories, because which story out of all of them kind of just grabbed your attention the most, I think?
Well, the thing is, all these stories are kind of the same as every other year, so nothing really went out and grabbed my
It sort of feels like
attention.
you're caught up in a temporal causality.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but they were kind of going over some of the worst stories that they had heard. And there was a few years back where 2 fathers were in a Toys R Us trying to get a product. They actually pulled out guns and shot each other. Merry Christmas, kids! I went to go get you a Barbie doll. Instead, we're going to get me a casket. It's like, what do you think before you do things?
Well, this year's was the one in Texas where allegedly, because I don't think that anyone caught any video or anything, allegedly we're in Texas, somebody ended up cutting in front of the line. Somebody else, and the other dude pulled out the gun and shot and and everyone. There was that one. There's the YouTube with all the rioting going on in the Wally world over smartphones, and I go, smartphones, dumb people.
Yeah, smartphones, dumb people. That should be the new code for all cell phone carriers.
Then there was the woman who, when the police officer was telling her to go back to the line because of how they had all different control lines just to keep control of the chaos, the chaos.
Chaos?
Chaos? Are you kidding me? Chaos?
I just want to get a TV.
we just always channel Jim Moore. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
why.
that time of year.
It's just
They're actually clinching scenarios for the NFL right now for
I know.
division. So we're in that mood. It's the holiday season. We're all happy. We're all trampling people for TVs that are overvalued.
Christmas carols in our mind endlessly.
Oh, Christmas carols at work endlessly. And it's
The weather outside is frightful.
It's 85 degrees and sunny today.
The song is not delightful.
No, it's not.
Or the weather outside is frightful. The ambiance is not delightful. Or something like that.
It's pretty bad.
I don't know.
And we live in Florida. Let it snow. It's not going to happen.
Let it
Shut
stow,
the hell up.
Let it stow. Let it stow. Let it stow. Would that be the appropriate segue?
Yeah.
But back to the story when the lady would not get back in line as the police officer was telling her to do it. And I don't know about you, but usually if a police officer tells you to do something, is it not? Usually, I'm just using common sense. Usually, a good thing to probably follow, especially if it's a crowded store. It's Black Friday. It's crazy, or Great Thursday, because somebody called it Great Thursday. Because Black Friday is creeping into Great Thursday now. I mean, it's no longer just Black Friday, 6 a.m., everyone showing up there early. It is you're driving into work at 8 p.m. on Thursday night.
Yeah, Tryptophan Tired Thursday is what they're going to start calling it probably.
I like that. You should get that copyrighted.
I might. But
TTT. You have Triple H in wrestling. You have TTT, Tryptophan Tired. Well, Tryptophan Tired Thursday. I like that.
Tryptophan Tired is Thursday.
Say that 3 times real fast backwards on your head.
I couldn't stand on my head if I was, forced to. But back to the idiots.
But back to the story. The police officer, and she wouldn't go back in line, and then so after several times doing it, they end up having to restrain her. And here's the whole deal: no matter how bad a day you thought you had on Black Friday, and both of us work in retail, so that was fun, wasn't it?
Oh, it could have been worse, but yeah, it was magical.
Could have been worse. She had to be restrained after all the times the police officer was like, ma'am, need to get back in line. They had to, sit on her, and somebody cameraed it and sent it up to YouTube.
Police brutality.
And made it available to all, because this happened in Orlando, to the Orlando area television stations. Of course.
And then it gets on TV, and they go, well, the police were... No. Let me put it this way. There are 3 criteria for when I will unequivocally listen to somebody. If they are a person of authority,
or like South Park, authority.
if they can unequivocally and unquestionably whoop my booty.
That would rank up there.
Or if they have an item on them that can unequivocally either whip my booty
Say
or
hello to
murder
my
me.
little friend
Yes.
type
And a
philosophy.
a cop is one of those special people that fits all three.
Because they have like hand-to-hand combat training, probably.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Hand-to-hand combat.
They have a say hello
nightsticks,
to my
they have
little
a
friend.
gun. They have pepper spray. They have all kinds of things that can make your life miserable or end it. They are an authority, and a lot of them are. I mean, given we have the fat cop that sits at Dunkin' Donuts all day, kind of criteria. But there are some cops that they're no joke.
Yeah, it's like
They can put you in a headlock like a UFC fighter and whoop your booty.
they have Jedi skills.
Yes. So, to all the idiots out there, especially the ones that are like freaked out about people cutting in line or whatever, you don't take matters into your own hands. Go and get somebody from the store. They will take care of it. If they don't take care of it, usually something goes out of line and somebody else will take care of it.
Yeah,
But
like
when you do it yourself, you create the problem. You make yourself the guilty party instead of the person that cut in line.
sort of like
Especially if you're cashing out. You already have your items. You're in the checkout line. You're up at 2:30 in the morning at Walmart. You can't wait another 5 minutes to check out your TV?
realizing
Is that really that bad that you got to pull a gun and shoot somebody?
realizing that when you're going to go out shopping with how busy it is, you're going to have to wait. It's like we ended up waiting today for the lottery ticket because it might have heard there's a
550 million.
Might
Yeah,
have.
it'll probably go up before then too. 'Cause like I said this morning, I went past the sign. It was 500 million. We got our tickets because, well, you know what? We both have real jobs. This is not what we do full time, at least not yet. So you know, I think it pays off to put a few dollars in.
Even 300, I believe somebody said it was 327 million before taxes, and even after taxes would still be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Sauce, like to the most.
I played $10 in the lottery. What'd you win? 550 million. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if you cannot afford to gamble of any kind, this goes for, sports or cards or anything, don't do it, including the lottery. However, if you have a few dollars sitting around,
it's better than going to Vegas, dropping I don't know
Exactly.
how much money, and it's like, forget it. You get like lemon, like
Exactly.
500 gajillion times.
yeah. What we're trying to say is be responsible. We're not condoning betting, even though we are.
Even though everyone out there is thinking like I was, bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. There's a whole lot, there's a whole lot of money out there. We're all living and devil may care. I'm just a devil with the love to share, and viva
Las Vegas.
y'all.
So, anyways, I think it's time to kind of go back towards
To the
sports.
future?
Wow, if only.
1.81 gigawatts. We need to get up to 88 miles per
Hey,
hour.
I wouldn't mind going about 20,
Scott.
I wouldn't mind going about 24 hours in the future, getting the numbers coming back and taking the whole thing. Then
Will that create a tear in the entire space-time continuum? though?
possibly, and I hope so.
What like in Back to the Future? Would like one of us like all of a sudden start to fade out, like in the picture, in the photograph, like we're fading. You're looking at your hand and it's fading from existence. That's scary. Yikes.
But yeah, let's go into sports because that's what we are supposed to be doing.
Okay. Schmorts?
A few
Schwartz?
stories, of course.
Sorts?
Start with last
Shorts?
Thanksgiving.
Who's the biggest tricky other?
Name any, insert any Jets reference here. I mean, anytime you get sacked and fumble the ball to a stationary lineman's butt on your own team, I think you qualify as a failure. Not saying that Mark Sanchez is a failure as a human being, but I am. That being said, you also got to look at the refs in the Houston-Detroit game.
Could you make any sense of the official booth was going to review? I'm calling it the four-set foible. That's what I'm calling it, the four-set foible. They're going to review it, and Schwartz, who should have technically known the rule, if you're a head coach, you probably should be familiar with the rules and the procedures, throws out the flag, and by throwing out the flag, nullified the official review that was about to take place, and then I believe he also got penalized.
He got a 15-yard penalty, which I agree with. If the rule's in place that you don't need to throw the flag, and you throw the flag, you can call it an unsportsmanlike penalty, give him a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff, whatever. But the whole point of instant replay is to get the play right. To allow a call, and don't get me wrong, in real time, I don't blame the refs for missing this call. It wasn't, you put it in the super slow-mo, you go, obviously it was down. Well, yeah. You put that at game speed, it's a little harder to tell. He didn't lay out flat or anything. He was close to the ground. Real time, you don't see that knee touch, you don't see the elbow touch.
We all like to criticize, but if we were actually put in a NFL reffing simulator, it would probably be entertaining to see how many calls we got right, as opposed to how many calls we screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have told offhand if he didn't. And the refs did the right thing by letting it go, because you can always go back and spot it, but if he's not down, you kill the play. I don't agree with the fact that you lose the challenge. I think
you play to lose the game.
I think what they need to do is, if we're going to challenge the play anyways, and you throw out the flag, you're going to be bound by your flag. So if the call is overturned, you don't lose a timeout. But you lose your challenge. If you throw out the flag and the call stands, you lose your timeout and you lose the challenge.
But they shouldn't have lost.
But they should
the
not
challenge.
lose the ability to do the replay.
And they shouldn't have lost the review.
They wouldn't have lost review. They would have had to spend a challenge. I think that's the way to go. When you throw the flag out, the challenge flag.
Did you actually look at the rule? I can't see anything in that rule that even says that. Because I went to the NFL rules and I'm trying to figure out where it says that in the actual bona fide article that deals with challenges.
I haven't either. It's a new rule, so maybe it's not as well published as it should be. But like I said, my theory on it is that if the call is going to be reviewed, it should be reviewed. If the coach wants to throw out the challenge flag and waste the challenge, let him. Give him the 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike if you want. Make that challenge a coach's challenge. Say it's not the boost challenge anymore. And if they lose, they get charged a timeout like they would with a normal challenge. If they win, they still have to use the challenge. They keep their timeout. That, I think, would be a better way to do it.
Because that would have made a difference if that touchdown...
The game goes into overtime. If that touchdown doesn't go, I'm not saying the Texans wouldn't have went down on the very next play and even done a play like that.
Especially with how many times the field goal kickers missed.
But the Texans
wide right, then you had doink.
Yeah.
Was it wide right or wide left?
I think it was wide left.
But it went wide. You had a wide and then a doink.
Yeah. But saying the Texans tied it with under 2 minutes left, their drive could have easily taken over 2 minutes. The whole game is a different complexion after that. So I'm not saying that the refs cost Detroit a win.
That created an alternate universe.
But it did create the controversy. I think that was a bigger deal than the Sioux kick to the groin, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a second. But Jim Schwartz admitted that he screwed up, which I thought was appropriate because he did. On the sideline, he's like, "That's on me. That's on me." And
is he on the hot seat?
I don't think so. Detroit's been bad for so long. You got them in the playoffs last year.
Just almost
got a down year. They're not a bad team. They're not getting blown out of games. I mean, I think a lot of their losses are by 3 to 5 to 7 points kind of range. But also, staying in that game, what did you think about that Ndamukong Suh kick?
There seems to be two truisms every Thanksgiving recently now that's starting to become a trend. One, Detroit Lions have to lose. And
10
two,
straight years.
Some kind of incident has to be involving Ndamukong Suh.
2 straight years.
Yeah, and it's like we all have seen it on the internet that it was allegedly an accident. Allegedly that he ended up putting the foot to one Shabby's family jewels. Youch.
Well,
and now he's not going to be suspended, or I'm not even sure if he's going to be fined.
I think a fine is still being discussed, but as far as I can tell, there's no suspension upcoming. As we do a little maintenance here.
Yeah, sorry for the noise in the background. It's a special sports shuffle installing of charging stations.
Yeah. But as far as the kick goes, I cannot see how that was at all intentional on the part of Ndamukong Suh, because he's going head over heels over a defender or over an offensive lineman who's trying to block him. As he falls to the earth, he kicks with his left foot. I know Stu used to play soccer, so he's probably pretty good with kicking and his control of his feet. But at the same time, when you're falling head first to the ground, if you have the not only presence of mind, but the ability to target a kick, that is a
Neo and Matrix.
Exactly. That is a little more than just a coincidence. It's a little more than just dumb luck. You are a superhuman athlete if you can target it like that. But I don't think that's what happened. I really don't. I think it was more of an accident. I think the NFL's got it right. Maybe a fine because you got that past history and it's questionable enough. But at the same time, I don't think you can suspend a player for something that doesn't look intentional.
But irony, isn't it ironic? Like the song that Sue gets, although the ticket was dropped, gets ticketed for driving with aggressiveness and without using due caution a couple days after, even though the ticket was dropped because apparently the police officer who ticketed Sue, apparently, and this you gotta call a little shenanigans on, apparently it was too aggressive with giving tickets. I gotta personally call shenanigans on that.
It's a little ridiculous.
You kind of have to wonder if maybe, I'm not saying anything, maybe someone is saying, one person perhaps maybe suggests another person, I may have this mill in my hand, and if it's not there, if I turn away and look, and, maybe something a little on the Dark Lord type-ish.
Well,
it's
not like he was charged with speeding or got a ticket for something that's ironclad that you can go, here's the proof. Aggressive driving,
so you don't think there was any tomfoolery or shenanigans?
I would be surprised if there wasn't someone in the county office who said, "Oh, and Ndamukong Suh, I'm a big Lions fan. Let's not piss him off.
You're on my fantasy team."
Exactly,
maybe
kind of thing.
Like an
got a
individual
defensive individual players kind of league, or even if you got the Lions D, or just a Lions fan. I mean, you got to remember, that's going to be in Detroit. Oh man, Sue? Nah, I'm not going to enforce that. We're going to lose this.
Yeah, I got to get to the playoffs.
But at the same time,
and here's an interesting tweet from Pro Football Talk. Sue won't apologize to Schaub, says kick was accidental. So perhaps maybe you were right.
It looks like it's accidental, but of course it's Ndamukong Suh. So then again, if it was an accident,
but he was fined $30,000 by the NFL for that kick.
Yeah, which is
an expensive kick.
It's an expensive kick, but as far as NFL fines go, it's not too terrible. I mean, you look at Ed Reed got $50,000 for someone ducking their head and getting in his line of fire. So I don't think it's quite as bad as it could have been, but...
And I know you won't want to see this because of your fantasy team. NFL receiving TD leaders, Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
That's okay. On one team, I have both Kendall Hunter and Matt Forte.
Oh, wow. Well, that's always fun.
Yay.
Yeah. Very interesting coming out of that Texans-Lions game. A lot of interesting things. I think the Cowboys game was pretty...
The flag, the kick.
Yeah, the flag and the kick. And the Cowboys-Redskins game, it was a very good game in the second half as Dallas starts to come back, but I guess the big story is RG3 just tearing the defense up. And then the nightcap...
Cowboys Romoed them. Sounds like I came up with the new Kenny Chesney song just for the Cowboys since he was a halftime act. The Boys of Fail.
Yes.
Not fall, fail.
Yes. And it was a better second half, and being one who had Matt Schaub, who debilitatingly stunk at fantasy, now is playing Tony Romo, I was happy to see getting together in the second half and actually outproduced Matt Stafford, which was good.
At least you didn't sit Eli Manning for Jake Locker. I still won that matchup. Still very close by a couple points. At least you didn't sit Eli Manning because of... And then he just went out and...
Well, here's the funny thing.
Crashed the Packers.
Here's the funny thing. There's a person at work who asks me for fantasy advice every week. Every week I give him the wrong advice. Every week. Like this week, he's like, should I play Jamal Charles or Victor Cruz? And I go, well, the Giants are playing the Packers. That's not a necessarily great matchup. Eli's been stinking. And I was looking like the Chiefs are playing Denver. Denver, I mean, they can give up some yards. They can give up some points. Jamal Charles is still one of their better running backs in the league. Charles is probably the safer play. He'll probably get you a decent amount of points.
Kind of cool. I got Peyton Manning's autograph, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to feel good about that. And, of course, I tell him, play Charles. You have to play Brandon Marshall, who I don't think did all that well. and Victor Cruz and Eli go off. Whoops, sorry.
It's sort of like my picks when we get to the playoffs. Just whatever I pick, do the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah,
how
I think we had one year where one of us did really well, and then the other years is like, yeah, I won the pick'em at 4-8 or 4-7. It's,
pick your nose.
I have to say, I'm actually kind of impressed with how well we're doing in our picks this year, straight up. Against the spread, we're not so good.
Against the spread is that is brutal.
I'm a little below 500, and I'm about 20 something games ahead of you. But then
against the spread is brutal. Not as brutal as the Jets or the Eagles.
Yeah, that was the big story of the nightcap was the utter and abysmal
49?
decapitation of the Jets by the Patriots, and
that'd be like remember the old Mortal Kombat game? The Patriots would be fatality,
yes. And it's
finish him.
It is interesting that there's 4 teams that can clinch the division this weekend already. The Ravens are one of them.
Playoffs?
They can clinch the division. The Patriots can clinch the division just by winning. I think the Bengals have to lose for the Ravens to take it. The Broncos have to win, I think, and they clinch outright.
Steelers had so many turnovers they thought they were a bakery.
They almost were. That was funny. I mean, you look at the Steelers, and always a good team, and what happened? They go into Cleveland. They played in Cleveland that game, right? It wasn't in Pittsburgh, if I'm remembering correctly.
Neve says we consult the oracle known as the interweb.
The internet. It has all the answers.
Like Wikipedia?
Yeah. But those are right answers. They're just not credited right. But the other big story from the NFL is the growing controversy at QB in San Francisco. A team that
calling all the right plays, and that's not mine. I saw that on the NFL website, but that was so corny. I just had to use it.
Yeah, it's right up Joel's alley.
Art.
But that being said, the Niners got to the NFC Championship game and lost in overtime last year.
They were at Cleveland. Unlike Wikipedia, it is verified.
Yeah, they haven't exactly been a bad team, and they're going to switch quarterbacks for an unproven rookie. I don't know about you. I don't think that's necessarily a great idea.
Well, he still do better than Nick Foles.
Well, yeah, but Nick Foles is a joke. He's a joke on a bad team, nonetheless. If he had a decent line. Now, if you watched that Eagles game, you heard how many injuries there were. Like 4 of the 5 offensive linemen. Deshaun Jackson
out.
Michael Vick.
Jonathan Stewart from the other team out. And just
Michael
that one
Vick
game.
Out, yeah. But Mike Vick, LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, 4 of your 5 offensive linemen are all out. And I think, wasn't Macklin or somebody else got hurt, I think. Also, who's been out for a while, who's a pretty decent part of their offense. And you look at this team and go, I wonder why they're not any good.
And then Bryce Brown
comes out of nowhere.
If you started Bryce Brown, Bryce Brown. If you started Bryce Brown, wow. I mean, because he was on one of my benches. Because he's one of those plays that you see like starting 0.03.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's the Eagles.
It's the Eagles. Who thinks? It's.
They had one player who remembered how to play football, and they almost won the game against the Panthers.
Almost won the game against another bad team.
It turned out all of a sudden I was thinking that my original score prediction was, I'm thinking 27-10. This one's going to be kind of not quite a blowout, but Panthers are going to handle them, and then
the Eagles play decent, tight games. They're just not good enough to win.
They just went into the prevent offense in the last part of the game, so
yeah. And Bryce Brown decided to start fumbling the ball.
Running. Fumble Ruski, Fumble Rama.
But yeah, it was a very interesting week. Of course, the Bucks
fourth and 29. Right. 4th and 29.
The Bucks narrowly losing to the Falcons.
The Chargers got norved.
Yeah, the Chargers they're in a world of hurt right now after blowing that big lead to Denver, then getting beat by Denver again, and then 4th and 29. Hey diddle diddle, Ray Rice up the middle. That's all you had to know. If you didn't see it, it was a 4th and 29 screen pass that went for 29 and a half yards. You said
screen, so you got to do Jeff Garcia. Got a screen.
A screen pass. And don't get me wrong.
The Chargers were a screening disaster.
Don't get me wrong. There were There was a very, very good block at the end of that play that allowed him to get the last 3 or 4 yards, but there were a number of missed tackles before that.
Just whip.
And it was ugly. And I think it was Anquan Bolden came back and made the nice block that ended up letting him get the last 4 or 5 yards. But there were 4 to 5 tackles.
Did you get any fantasy points for a good block?
Thank God he was on the other team. No. Yeah. Torrey Smith is the reason I won my fantasy game this week because he got the big catch in overtime that set up the game-winning field goal.
That's when you're like,
that put me over the top.
Right player.
Banged. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had another guy go the next night. But I wanted to be ahead because I had Randall Cobb, and thank God because he didn't do very much because the Packers got blown out.
Yeah, that would be like Miles Austin.
Oh, yeah, I played him too. He got me a big old goose egg.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, last week was a very, very bad week for my fantasy team, and I know none of you care, so we won't go too deeply involved in that, but I sat Julio Jones and played Miles Austin. I played the Dolphins defense and sat the Niners defense.
That was your sitting Bryce Brown.
Oh, no. I sat the Niners defense in favor of the Dolphins defense also. I left about 60 points on my bench and won by 9.
Bum, 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 bum.
Fortunately, I won by 9.
That's when you're like, how the bleep did I win?
Yeah. It was one of those things that I could have done better.
You play to lose the game.
You play to adequately barely beat a guy that you should have beaten.
Try that in the Herm Edwards voice.
Yes. No, it's funny. The guy I was playing, whose team name is Getting Beat by Everybody, I played him twice. He very nearly swept me.
Name.
He very nearly swept me. And he gets beat by everybody, except me. But I beat him.
So that would mean he would need to change his name to Getting Beaten by Everyone Except Ryan.
Getting beat by everybody with crippled farting ducks.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the team name, and that's important to know, or else you're going to be like, what does that mean?
That's just because we're all quackers.
Ha, Quacker Jacks.
You get it? See what I did there? All right.
But as a Bucks fan, how do you feel coming off of that?
I'll tell you. I would take
Falcons.
3-1 last 4 because my original prediction was 2-2 because I didn't think they were going to do this well. Now it's a bit of a downer going into Denver because I don't think they're going to win in Denver. I mean, too much Peyton Manning. You got King Papa John himself. You got King Buick. You got King commercial nude. But no, seriousness, you got his laser rocket arm. I mean, Peyton is too quick. I mean, most people, it's like, step back 1, 2, 3. Peyton's just, Peyton is like, when playing a video game and you get the power up, Peyton is like that all the time. Yeah. Peyton is like, he's always on power up and just pew, 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 pew. And you're just like, how do you do that? I can't do that fast in Madden.
No.
I cannot do that fast in Madden. And I don't think...
I've tried.
And the Bucks, who had somebody else join Team Adderall, that's something new coming up with it.
Yay!
Team Adderall, which is now composed of 2 Seahawks, and we have to talk about the Seahawks with it accidentally drank Adderall. And I'm going, how do you drink Adderall? It's like somebody replied to me on Twitter saying that that's right up there with when you're trying to find the dog ate your homework. How do you drink Adderall? And then you actually look in the story, you saw that there's a crushed pill in the glass that was the other teammate had the prescription. It was okay, but he just happened to drink it. And I'm just like, what? So you have the 2 Seahawks, you have now 2 Bucks, and you even have the Phillies catcher. Because now it's over into baseball. So now there are 5 folks who are on Team Adderall.
Yeah. There were actually a couple interesting failures over the weekend with the stadium facilities, and one of them was last night, which isn't technically the weekend.
Oh, the Buffalo Wild Wings moment.
Oh, yeah, the Buffalo Wild Wings moment in the Dolphins-Seahawks game, and then last night in the Indiana-North Carolina basketball, the men's game.
I missed this.
It was just after halftime, and they're talking about how, like, a game recap, and all the power goes out in the stadium for, like, 15 or 20 seconds. And it's Dickie V, he's, like, talking, oh, baby, the lights are out! And he's, like, goes nuts. And he goes all Dickie V on it, which is awesome. Always. It's awesome, baby!
How many Red Bulls do you think, like, he has, Jory?
I don't think he has Red Bulls. That's the scary thing. Like, I don't think he's on energy drinks or Adderall or anything that's going to be, like, insanely,
I wonder if he, like, pulls into a drive-thru. It's like, drive-thru at, like, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, awesome, baby, I'd like 3 char grilled chicken. Yeah, awesome, baby, thank you. Woohoo, yeah.
Always excited. Always. I don't have that in me. But
that would wear me out after about just, like, one day.
But what is the bigger fail there? Is it the power going out or the sprinkler system just... And I think the reaction was great because the Dolphins were like, going to walk off the field. The Seahawks were like, what is that, right?
Or the Bobcats losing to the Thunder like they did.
Or the Wizards being over the season. I honestly think they don't.
Are the Wizards eliminated from the playoffs?
I think so. I honestly can see them only winning like 5 games, which would break the record because the record's like 9. But this is a team so bad.
How bad are they?
It's a team that's so bad they make the Bucks and the Lions winless teams look like superstars. Because the Wizards aren't even getting close. Like, the one game they were close was to the Bobcats, who got blown out or down at halftime by 57 or 1,000. They were down by $550 million because that's what the Powerball is.
That would be pretty bad.
It was pretty.
We lost by $550 million. That'd be like a fantasy thing.
24 points at halftime. I'm not good at basketball, and I've scored 24 points in a game on my own, and I suck at basketball. And I played in high school. It's like, how do you, as an NBA team, I know the Thunder are good.
So should the Bobcats be demoted to the D League for a week?
They should be demoted to the D League with the Jets. Yeah.
And the Jets aren't football.
Jets aren't even football. Here's the thing. The Bobcats could probably put on pads, beat the Jets at football. The Jets can go on the court and beat the Bobcats at basketball. Should the Jets be made a
Division III college team?
I wouldn't go
Not Division I, Division III. D3?
Yeah. There's been a lot going on this week with
semi-pro team?
Sports. I mean, we're not even getting into college football yet.
That's like...
Fortunately, we started early today, so we have time to do another one of these. We have to, because I think we're going to, because we still have picks. Kind of want to get to college football.
Do you think that Georgia-Alabama game might have some of
those? It might.
A little bit?
Yeah.
And then you had like the number 2 team like losing.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Kansas State and Oregon lose, and then Notre Dame's all by themselves like, hey, we're undefeated.
Notre Dame, we get to go and get our butts kicked. Absolutely, completely, totally decimated in the national game. I don't have a good feeling for Notre Dame.
See, I don't.
If it's Alabama,
I don't have a good feeling either way, and here's why. USF is an awful, awful program right now.
This is true.
They opened the season last year at Notre Dame.
They didn't even get to a peak this year. Usually USF goes real well, gets to a peak, national recognition, then they drop faster than Wile E. Coyote off of a mountain.
A lot of the players on the team are the same as last year on Notre Dame, and they got thumped by USF. This is a USF team that sucks. But Notre Dame...
Are they on their 4th-string quarterback yet?
They should be. But Notre Dame has played big games. They've won all the big games, so you can't argue with them being there. But
because every time USF plays in like the last 3 weeks, they've lost a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, no loss there. I mean,
no loss for the loss. So is that a game? You have no loss for loss. Does that equate to a game?
If you're losing quarterback, is no loss? Does that mean it's a gain of 5 yards, first down? High five, chapstick.
I'm trying to do a Michaela is not impressed. I know this is a podcast and it's audio,
but. Oh, man. But, yeah, I do think it was funny that the Seahawks, after all year being that team that comes back and wins late, and to the chagrin of our Packers friends and fans out there listening, who say...
They got schooled by the G-Men. I mean, that was brutal.
That was brutal. It says something when a diehard Packers fan comes up to you and just goes, we're not healthy enough to play a team that good. That's crazy, but I do like that the Packers fans that I know are like, the Dolphins beat the Seahawks. Thanks for giving us some revenge.
Aaron Rodgers got quadruple discount checked.
I'm telling you, it's got to be the porn star mustache.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was. First of all, he looks like a pedophile because that's what that mustache does. That's the only intention.
Wish I had a pencil-thin mustache,
but. Shave it off, get back to winning. They'll be fine. They're still going to win that division because they play the Bears, they play the Lions again, and the Vikings twice. So win that division. Packers fans, relax. You'll be okay.
You're talking them off the ledge.
Yes.
This is the Packers fan psychiatric helpline here.
Yes, you will get healthy. You will get Matthews back. You will get Jennings back. Benson will probably come back at some point. You will get better, and you hopefully will not have to worry about the Seahawks in the playoffs. Because we all know if they get home field, all you got to do is call back some refs, and you can't beat that. And I remember saying this after that game. And right now the Packers Seahawks are 5-6. If the Packers and Seahawks are battling for a playoff spot, the NFL is going to fall apart. If the Seahawks get in, the Packers don't. based on that tiebreaker.
Because
head-to-head
of
tiebreaker.
We call it maybe replacement
because
refs.
of the bad call on the replacement refs.
That would be, once again, and you can take a drink because I'm going to say, cause a tear in the fabric of the space-time continuum. I don't know what the space-time continuum is. I do know what the space-time continuum is. I don't know. Would that mean the replacement refs would then fade out from existence, and then, in fact, that play would never happen, and we turn into a bubble universe, and, in fact, be a whole new world? Okay, well, maybe. Anyway, man, by the way, I'm perfectly sober, not on anything.
He is not on Adderall.
I'm just like that normally. Right?
Yeah.
Am I like this normally?
All crazy all the time.
Yep, that me, JB.
But lots of interesting side stories, I think, going on this week and weekend. I guess we're going to start with some serious news out of like the world of golf. Like they're playing the big putters that you can anchor to your chest. They're about to ban those because they think it gives an unfair advantage, which I believe.
For somebody who, I'll just say that I'm not like a golf aficionado, but porque?
The thing is, when you swing a club that is not fixed to your chest, because you can lean, have it there, and it's a fixed point.
It adds leverage.
Then all you have to do is back and forward. When you have it separated, you can go a little up and down also. It's a little more difficult, so you can miss the putt easier. Essentially, when you have it fixed, all you have to do is pull it back, not have it move, and you're going to go in a straight line.
So does it add leverage or give you a better center?
It gives you better pendulum motion. So you're able to go back straighter, forward straighter. So wherever you aim, it's about putting on the right power, not about making sure you come and make the right contact.
So it's enhancing your swing.
It's enhancing the accuracy of your swing. Of course, putting's not necessarily about power. I mean, you got to have the right power, and most professional golfers know how to do that. But they're going to, I guess, rule on banning them.
It's all about how the hill is rolling.
Yes. And also, the ACC's going back to pillage the Big East once again, taking Louisville.
Shouldn't we call it the Big East now?
Yeah, they add Tulane and East Carolina and lose Louisville.
The Big Semi East.
Yeah. The Big Everything Conference. I mean...
Or just the Big E.
The Big East, where South Florida plays Boise State, and it's in conference.
The Big East, North, South, West, what the heck? We have no idea where we are geographically anymore.
Yeah, it's been sad. So, a lot of sports information going around. And it's still early. It's still early in a lot of things. NFL has a few weeks left.
Yeah, well, we can still huddle it, cuddle it, hold it, and enjoy it while it's still here before. I have a feeling it's just going to be NBA after the NFL is done this year.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
When you're talking federal mediators, I don't think we passed the 11th hour.
Yeah,
we have it. It's not the 12th hour yet, but
I think the NHL is really, really making a huge mistake in how they're doing this. But to cancel so many games,
the All-Star game and all games through December now.
All games through. Last I saw was December 14th. It might have gone through.
And then if they do another cancel after this, I think it's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle and shooting match, and there goes the bubble universe known as the NHL for 2012.
Yeah, and
cause of death, CBA.
And to let a whole season be gone twice in less than 10 years is
1994.
1993-94 they had a partial season. 2004-2005 they had no season.
Barely 10 years.
2012 and 13
barely.
Could be the next where they had no season. And I guess that would make the Lightning and the Kings the only teams to hold the cup for 2 years.
Yeah, that was exciting. Yay, we won the Stanley Cup. We won the Stanley Cup. It's a lockout. What?
But
that was fun. Lightning would have at least have gotten in the playoffs, I think, the second.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, you look at that. I know you're a Lightning fan. You guys won. The Sharks had their best ever result in 2004, where they got 2 games from the Stanley Cup Finals, losing to Calgary, obviously, who lost to Tampa Bay. As a Sharks fan, you go, well, maybe we were... Because that was right after we got Joe Thornton. Patrick Marleau's entering his prime. Cheechoo was still going crazy.
Cheechoo!
Yeah, anybody else remember Jonathan Cheechoo, or is that just me? You look at that, and the Sharks.
Ryan is the only person who uses Shark jersey numbers to pick his lotto ticket.
Hey, if it works, I will probably mention it on the podcast from Germany. Because I'll probably take a trip somewhere. But people with
We'll be
teams
able to
that were
afford the
close,
baggage fees.
people with the teams that were close, like the Flyers and I think the Lightning beat the Flyers that year to go to the finals.
Yeah, see.
The Flyers and the Sharks fans and stuff like that who were close that year, going, but I want to play. We're close. I want to win. So there's a lot of ambiguity there. But the fact that another season is
Shuffle word of the day: ambiguity.
Another season is quickly slipping away. And of course, the first year I'm going to get center ice. The first year I'm going to get center ice. They do this crap. So thanks, NHL. Thanks. But I
center offline test screen pattern.
Yeah, because there's been enough people that I know that like hockey, that some of which you work with, and they're going, I'll just go see the Everblades, who are ECHL from Fort Myers, because I don't want to go back to the NHL. They keep doing this crap, and I don't like it. Bettman needs to go. Donald Fear needs to go. And frankly, anybody who's got the gall to say, we're not going to budge off of a position when you're losing millions, if not billions of dollars at this point, you need to have a bullet between the eyes, because you're not thinking with your brain and you are a zombie. If you're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars for... I don't know why.
Is it still big market teams versus small market teams? Is that still the...
I don't think so. I mean, you look at the teams
Why
that
is
are...
everyone's heads up their certain part of their...
Why? Because money rules everything. And it's funny how we start this talking about the Powerball, and we're going to end with talking about money ruling everything, because if you win the Powerball, $550 million, you can actually go to the NHL and say, I'll cover the difference, get on the damn ice, and still have about $400 million left before taxes. The difference is somewhere around $189 million between two sides. If you say, you will not do this again, you will put a 40-year collective bargaining agreement,
or I will send you to your rooms,
and I will cover the difference right now, but you have to have a 40-year bargaining agreement, I think I'd do that. I think I would.
You would be forever etched in history.
I would. I would be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, never having put on skates, never having touched the puck, and never having written down
the
an
season.
NHL. Saves the NHL for 40 years. I would make that stipulation. I'm like, you have to hold this collective bargaining agreement at the rate of inflation for 40 years. I am not going through this again. 40 years from now, I will be 64, 65, 63, whatever, however long this takes for me to win the Powerball. I do not want to see this again. And both the U.S. SOBs, Donald Fear and Gary Bettman, you will likely be dead by the time this goes on, and I don't think anybody's going to be as dumb as you both. So, that might be a good place to wrap this up for this one.
Yeah, probably.
We will be back, because of course we still got picks. We still got to talk a little bit more about college football. And
when you were being funny, that wasn't any kind of threats or anything, so you're just
No.
Just as a disclaimer.
They're in their 50s or 60s. 40 years from now, they're going to be close to 100. Most people at that age are not living. I'm not making a threat, even though there are people that are. And by all means, don't do it. You sound crazy and might get arrested.
Yeah, like there's one tweet just for a quick 30 seconds where somebody ended up telling Andy Reid that to go to heck because he would join his son, who was already there, and that was a disgruntled Eagles fan. And with your passion to sports, that's just way too much.
Yeah, that's way too far.
Wow.
So
because you have to maintain a middle line. And
there are lines.
Speaking of lines, we're about to cross the one in regards to time, so we'll hit the outro. Well, you have the intro. I call this the outro. The outro, and we'll be doing a part 2 because we're extra chatty today.
Yes,
so here we go, and part 1, read part 2. Boom.